Right, well I've just changed the battery in this GoPro Hero 5 and just taken a little bit of a cannon outside. Having lots of trouble with the batteries these days. They must be old. Anyway, now we are on our way again. Okay, well, we'll leave this truck rest stop after my pizza and coffee. Yum. Now, it's 25 minutes past 1 and how far I've got 32 k's to go to the next place on my list of coordinates, which is called Mount Doreen Ruins. So we might take a look at that and see what's what. I did hear a little bit of radio chatter just as I was pulling up to that truck stop. Must have been somebody complaining about some really bad corrugations. So it looks like, you know, the easy part will be over and we will be going into some pretty shitty roads. So, but it's to be expected. Big truck coming! Gotcha! Well, I plugged in some coordinates earlier. It's supposed to take me to a place called Mount Doreen Ruins, which are on these books and what have you. And I got to the place and there was nothing there. There was a gravel pit off to one side, but nothing, no road, set a dirt road off to this Mount Doreen, no sign of one. So I'm going to go to the next one, which is, well, I can't remember the name, but anyway. There's no sign of these places. Well, this is certainly an area that you could probably have camped in if you wish. It's certainly flat enough, but it's like just like a gigantic gravel pit, which I expect most of these places will be like. So I suppose I can safely say this is, let's say, Mount Doreen Ruins. We probably go through that. There's a little bit of a track over here, like this one. How far in do you want to go? Because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon now, and I don't know how far the other place is until I actually stop and have a look. Certainly a lot of cow shit. that. That is fertiliser or whatever. Anyway, let me just do a little bit of a check on my crib notes. Well, there's another place which is on my list and I've got it programmed into this GPS. Listen to that's my air conditioner tension belt. I think it's slipping when I turn it on. Anyway, this next place is about 30 k's up the road, so we'll go and have a look at that. So-called campsite, which is almost non-existent. You can camp with it, but these shitty must be. Now, this is another truck stop. There's nobody coming. It doesn't say. They don't name these things. Truck rest area. Rest area, and at least this was accurate, and it's signposted. This is called Flood Out Creek, apparently. Now, what does it say? 500 metres on the right. Oh, there's an arrow. Oh, yeah, look at that. It's a parking area, that's for sure. Is there any shade? Correct, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Enjoy your rest. Flood Out Creek. Yay. Leave rest area clean and tidy, of course. But of course, fire's not permitted on fire. Well, how do you know what a fireman is? Let's have a little explore down here. There's a little road. Well, let's have a wander around and make a decision. Well, I've decided to stay here at Flood Out Creek. As you saw, I drove in half a kilometre or so, I suppose, off the road. I'm being eaten alive by flies, but I don't care. It's very, very hot now. And I figured there's another 70 k's up to this place called Renahan's Bore. That's where a lot of people make for, I believe, Renahan's Bore. And so I thought when I got here, this'll do. Somebody's actually camped here before. There's a little bit of a fireplace over there. There's plenty of wood around. I can have a little fire later on. And it's actually 10 to 3, so it's time to stop. I've been on the road since, what, 8 o'clock. So, this is where I am. There's that old dead tree. And then there's some sticks in front of a fireplace here. We are in termite country. You can see some termite mounds over there. But I'll be up in my tent, so they can't eat me up there. So, this will do for a while, except for the flies. I've got my solar blanket out. It's now, well, it's coming up for 4:30. It's about 4:35, 4:28 or something. And this thing is still pumping into my, oh, that was me hitting a thing. 13.4 volts is the battery in the back of the car. And I'm all set up. I've got my little Ohuhu stove ready to go a bit later. I don't think I'll light that thing anyway. I won't need to. I'm tired enough. I'll be going to bed shortly. Anyway, what I was going to say is I have been doing my sums, and currently at this point, hang on while I turn this off and set it up a bit. Since leaving home, I have travelled 3,379 kilometres since then. I've used 372.15 litres of fuel, and my overall average for that is 9.07 kilometres per litre. Now currently where I am here, I've got about 680 kilometres to go, or 670 I think it is actually, to Halls Creek. And hey, I've got plenty of fuel to get there. In fact, I'm going to have that much fuel, I won't know what to do with it all. I'll just put it in. But I'm carrying 3 jerry cans, probably unnecessarily. But hey, better to be safe than sorry. So I'm over the moon with that. The only thing that's dragging me down here are these bloody flies, but they'll be gone soon. As, you know, 6 o'clock or something, the night comes in, they all disappear, they all go home to bed. Well, seeing as I had pizza at lunchtime, about 1:30 or 1:45, I'm having a very simple one today. I'm going to have mee goreng noodles, and I have a cup of soup in there, and that's all very simple. And I've got some bread that I need to use up on the top of the freezer, the fridge. So that's what's going to happen tonight. The only company I have tonight is some cows in the background. They were over, oh, there's one wandering through the bush over there. And they're sort of lowing, as the cows do. Moo, loo. So, as the sun goes down, I have no neighbours, which is good. It's a nice, peaceful night. Look at the sky. There should be lots of stars. I might try and get some time exposures tonight. I feel like eating a sharples with my bloody hairnet on here, but the flies are still bad. Anyway, not a very salubrious meal tonight, but it's my favourite noodles, mee goreng by Indomie, and a cup of soup by Continental, with some bread later, and a glass of red. What a combination. Ah, look at that. The sun's gone down. There are many people on YouTube who do camping things, And one that I follow is an English fella called Andrew Davison, whose handle is Kent Survival. And Andy always comes up, he goes camping, and he, when he puts his tent pegs in, he can actually put his foot on the tent peg and just push it into the soil. But you see these ones? You see how bent they are, Andrew, if you're watching? That's into rock. I bet you don't have rock over there in County of Kent. Well, that's it. It's 10 past 8 in the morning, and we're now heading over to Tanami. SD card. How can my SD card be full? Fuck. I'm having an awful job with these GoPros at the moment. I just don't. I put a 128 gigabyte bloody card in the Hero 5, and it tells me the card is full, and I checked it yesterday. Anyway, there's not a lot we can do. We're leaving Sturt Creek and heading towards Rabbit Flat and all the other places in between, and there's some workers out there. Okay, just left Sturt Creek, 670 to Wolfe Creek actually. So it's 20 past 8 in the morning. Hopefully I've just put a 64 gigabyte card in this particular one that we're looking at now. Hopefully that'll last me for a few days. There's a big cow over there, look. Oh, look at these on the road. I don't know what they are, herons of some sort, way out here. Woo. Is this somebody couldn't find a rest spot? Or not? No. Roadwork man, mining. To the left of me is a big camp. Exact contracting. They must be the people who are doing the road. Anyway, there's a huge camp off to that side. I tell you what, on the Tanami Road there are plenty of rest stops for like big trucks, but you're not supposed to. People like us are not really supposed to use them for their trucks. And all of the other places that I've seen on these, you know, wiki camps and HEMA camps 11, 12, whatever, very hard places to find. Now from now I've actually got the coordinates for Renahan's War into my Garmin here, and it says that it's now 9k's from that turn off. But having said that, I tried to find Mount Doreen little road to turn off, coordinates given. I saw Mount Doreen, but I couldn't find access apart from that little road that I went up and then ended up at a fence and a gate. And having said that, here goes the dirt road. So we are now about 600 and probably 15k's from Wolfe Creek, and I would suggest that that's the end of the bitumen. Yo-ho, here we go. Before we do anything, we better put it into four-wheel drive because it's quite sandy. Okay, just checked everything there. The batteries are charging. Okay, here we go. Just pass a sign that says roadside stop 5Ks, and that tallies with my Garmin, which is telling me that we're going to turn over, that this will be Renahan's Moor. So this is Renahan's Moor apparently. This is a roadside stop. Oh yeah. Yeah, and you can nick up off the back. This is the place I would have come to last night if I had, it was another 69 k's on, so I was glad I stopped where I was. There was nobody else there anyway, and it was very quiet apart from the cows. But then, that didn't matter. So, that was Renahan's Moor. So I would suggest that I now have 600 kilometres of this to Halls Creek. I know certainly from Halls Creek to the Karenya turnoff, which is the one to go to Wolfe Creek Crater, that is certainly all corrugated and rough roads, and I have no idea, no reason to believe that since we just left the bitumen that any more work will have been done on this road. So this is it, 600 k's. My next port of call on this road is an overnight stop called the Border Rest Area, which will be probably something like Renahan's Moor, but on the border between WA and Northern Territory. And I probably might stay, depends on the time. I don't want to keep rushing to try and get either to Halls Creek or through Halls Creek. I'd rather take another night on the road here and then in the morning go through to, say, Halls Creek and get fueled up and keep going onto Turkey Creek. It's quite sandy. In parts. mainstay to try and get this road paved all the way through, I think, from the mines. I lied. There's a paved bit, but I think it's only to actually the Tanami Desert. Now, not like deserts, I guess, as we come to associate them with great big huge sand dunes and what have you, but you'll look at it's very low, scrubby country, a lot of spinifex, and not many very tall trees. They're sort of scrubby, and that's probably because of lack of water during most of the year. Anyway, the Tanami Desert. Have a bit of a look at the Tanami Desert from the rear view. Uninteresting, really. Okay, another stretch of gravel road, so I'm going to do the hubs again. It was nice while it lasted. Okay, let's go. That was a good maybe 10 k's of bitumenised road. Okay. I'm wondering how the guy that he rocked up there when I was having a coffee break at actually before Yuendemu, and he was aiming for Renahan's Moor and was going to make it all the way through today to Wolfe Creek. I haven't seen anybody's dust in front of me, so maybe he got up early and kept going. Bounce, bounce, bounce. I'm transferring a little bit of, well, a lot of water from this bottle to my green pump bottle, which has got an easier cap on it. It's got one of these pull caps that makes it easier to drink. And the other reason is I want this particular bottle here with its lid, oh, just pouring it over, this one, because I have a litre of pure milk in the fridge, and it's a carton, and when I open it I need somewhere to put the rest because it'll spill all over the place. So that's because I love my milk. Anyway, we're off. No cars coming. We're back onto the main part of the Tanami. We've seen the big termites. Oh, now get rid of all these flies. Over there. I just had a battle with my Garmin trying to insert some coordinates. Sometimes they're very bloody temperamental things. I took about 8 times I had to do it because it kept jumping out of one thing to another. Oh, crazy thing. Anyway, having just programmed that bloody thing, I programmed it to take me to the border rest area, which is where I would, well, depending on the time, where I would plan to stay for the night. I don't plan to go to Wolfe Creek Crater again. Although that could change, I don't know. I'll see how I feel after driving on this road for so many 100 k's and what the temperature is. I've got the air conditioning going government ought to do in their second term. Instead of trying to give them a voice in Parliament, which won't just be a talk fest, actually put some money that you waste on that sort of shit into infrastructure and open up these communities to these people. Put some money onto the road and everybody can come and go and have a look. Oh, we got a truck coming. Put the lights on, slow down. I'm sure these truckies will appreciate it. I just came past a sign that says airport, and there's a humongous bloody big airport off there to the right. Unbelievable. I mean, I know they're out here. Shit. But all of a sudden, you're driving along, you think there's nobody else around for miles, and there's a freaking big airport there for the FIFO workers. Unbelievable. What a country this is. Nobody knows what the shit's going on. Now, here we are. Look at this out here. There's construction going over on the other side there. Some nice little villas. A big dump truck. Now, reduce speed to 60. This is the, here we are, the Newmont Tanami. All deliveries, 150 metres. Well, I won't be delivering anything, boys. I'm continuing. Newmont Tanami. Visitors by appointment. Well, I don't think I want to visit. So there you go, that's the Newmont mine. I don't know what they're mining. We'll have to have a look at that when we get home. It really is unbelievable. As you drive along, you think that you're the only person out here. And then all of a sudden, you hear radio chatter and then you come across an airport and a great big huge village for FIFO workers. Amazing. Anyway, oh yeah, I can see some operations going on over there. This is also a restricted area for some reason. I don't know what the restrictions are, but I haven't seen a sign that says keep out, mine site. There's signs off to the left. So it is a mine site, yeah, keep out. They'll be watching me. You know, it really is crazy when you think about it, right? Here I am, I just passed this Newmont mine. God knows what they're mining, how much it's costing them to run the operation, but more importantly, how much profit they get out of it. And yet I come out through a community of Yuendemu back there, which is like the site of a dump. Where does the money go to help these people? Because we've given them the land, they have freehold title to all this. That's a question. Nobody seems to answer that for me. Where is all this money going? Who's getting it? And why aren't those people back in those communities getting better facilities? Is it because they can't handle it? because that's how they like to live. I don't know. Well, from this point, it is 460 kilometres to Halls Creek, and I'm not quite under half full. I'm above half full, and I'm just ticking up 294 kilometres. So I get 200, not 300. I'll get 600 out of this at the present rate of consumption, and so that'll leave me a shortfall of about 100k. What do we see? About 160 k's. Crikey, that's only a bloody jerry can full, and I've got 3 jerry cans. Okay, that's okay. That's even better. So Rabbit Flat is supposedly about 28 k's now. I stand corrected. There's a heck of a wind out there too. It's sort of blowing with me. I'm looking out one side of my rear view mirror on my driver's side. I can't see me creating any dust, but if I look through the passenger side, I've got a ball of dust, and that's the wind blowing it. Well, apparently we're about 7.5 k's from Rabbit Flat. And if you look at the countryside, you can probably see why it was called flat. And maybe they had a lot of rabbits. Anyway, it's very similar to coming into Broome from the south. They have a long flat stretch, but they're a lot better road than this one. There is a block. It's private property, and I think yeah, it's private. There is enough footage on YouTube where people have actually had permission to go in, so we're not going to go in. But this is it's an old roadhouse. It was here for years, and then I can't remember the reason why, but it was abandoned. But I was talking actually to the fellow from Duka Urla at the roadhouse there, and apparently he used to work there, and he is fairly convinced that at some later stage this Rabbit Flat will actually reopen. He seemed fairly certain. But anyway, that's interesting. So anyway, that was where Rabbit Flat was. It's a little bit in from the thing. It's derelict, and people have trashed it, which is probably why those barrels are there. And I'll respect that, and I wish other people would too. Be nice to see it, but I'm not going to go in there and contribute to the vandalism, if you like. I wouldn't do anything anyway, but it's just, it belongs to people. Of course, the fact that the Rabbit Flat Roadhouse is no longer is the reason that you have to now bring extra fuel, because that was the oasis in the desert where you could get fuel. And now, I mean, I've just used up a half a tank here, and I could very well have enough fuel left in this to get me to Halls Creek if I'm judicious in my use of the accelerator. However, we'll see when I pull up to have a break. I still don't know how far it is to the border. I think to the border it's about 69 now, according to my GPS here. I programmed it to take me to the border rest area, which is smack on the Tanami Mill entrance on right. What? Entry by authorised persons only. Well, I'm unauthorised, so I won't be going. This is a particularly gnarly little stretch, and I see a vehicle coming here towards me, and I'm, as you see, slowing right down. This does not look like a four-wheel drive. It looks like an old Holden. Probably somebody from one of the communities, and I'll bet you it is. A bloody old Holden. He's probably coming down from Balgo. Hello, you. There is a stopping place up here for truckers, so I am actually, because I want to reprogram. I've got a couple of little options that I want to program into my GPSs. Yeah, we have a signpost anyway. Might give me some information. No entry, Halls Creek. What? These two side roads here, they're saying no entry, no entry. Obviously to a mine site. Yeah, granites, and that's Rig 19 and somebody else. Oh my God, the mining that goes on in this country. Anyway, still looking for my truck. This is a community called Yuendemu or something over to the right. Here is another truck stop, so that's good. We'll pull in here and I can... Well, there's a tree. I think I might have a bit of shade. Yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, that's what we want. I won't be too long. Well, it was almost impossible to do anything there because of the flies and the wind. So I didn't bother. I couldn't find what I was looking for on my map. Anyway, here's a signpost and it says Balgo 196, Halls Creek 406. So 406, yep, okay. And I'm currently reading 370.5 kilometres from Yuendemu, and I'm sitting on a half tank of fuel. Okay. This is a little bit different on the Tanami. We're going down into a valley. Look at this. Whoa. No wonder they said reduce speed. Ooh, it's quite rocky. It's a floodway. I'm thinking about that sign back there that says Halls Creek is 406. If you look at Google's maps, Google tell you can do that in about 5 hours. Shows you how much Google knows. 5 hours? Yeah, right. That's how long it would take us to travel on the highway between Perth and Albany. It's about 420 or something, and usually with a break we take about 5 and a bit hours. Good old Google, eh? I've just changed direction. I'm sort of now heading towards the west. You can feel it. The sun was actually at my side. Now it's basically at my back. So we're past our some of the big milestones now, which was Rabbit Flat. Now it's to the border, and sort of then turn slightly right and head up towards then we'll have done the Tanami. That'll be really bloody good. That's another thing to knock off the bucket list. Mind you, I haven't done it yet. I've still got 400 k's to go. In WA by now, because there's no market that I have seen, and from what I understood, the border rest area that I just went into was basically on the border, but there's no market to say you just crossed into WA, unless this is a sign coming up here. Perhaps it is, I don't know, but we'll find out. I just pulled into what was termed on the Camps 11 book as border rest area number 80. Here's another car, truck coming, hang on, I'll come back to it. Anyway, I pulled in there. The GPS coordinates were exactly on, so that was good. But there was nothing there. I mean, it's a rest area, they said, yes. But okay, if you're in got a camper trailer, well, I mean, I could have stopped there, it wasn't, but it was just in off the road, not far, and it was actually on a private road to a company who said keep out. So, you know, thinking about this road, would I do it again? No. And one of the reasons is it's fun to drive, to do it once and knock it off the bucket list, but there are precious few places now to pull off. I mean, not unless you're one of these people that just doesn't give a shit about anything and just pulls in off the road and creates your own campsites, and that's not how I camp. I like to know that, you know, it's okay to camp there, and it doesn't have to be facilities, but it's in off the road enough, and you get privacy and a bit of quietness from the yobbos that get around this country. Anyway, I'm pushing on. I don't know where I'm going to end up now. I'm just under half a tank to go, and I've got about 340 k's, I think, to Sturt Creek. I'm toying with the idea of actually, I don't know how far it is here at the moment, but going to Wolfe Creek Crater, although I was reluctant to go back there. It's a shitty road in. However, I shall see as the day progresses. It's only 1 o'clock and I'm still on Northern Territory time. And apparently when I hit the border, which I should be hitting very soon, I should be able to turn my clock back another hour and a half. I'm just negotiating a couple of really gnarly stretches. Okay, I've done that. Now it's like the native people have been doing their burn-offs, regenerate the country. I guess burning it off puts a bit of potash in the soil too. It looks like another vehicle coming. There it is. Look at that. Stop there. But to be on the safe side, I am siphoning 2 jerry cans. I've already done one, and this is the second. And that should be, well, that's going to be more than plenty to get us to Halls Creek and probably beyond. And I might just save that 20 litre in the yellow one up the back for emergencies. Okay, well, putting 2 jerry cans of fuel which contain 19 litres each, I know that for a fact. So I've added 38 litres, and it's taken the tank to almost, well, just above 3/4 full. And on that tank that we already had, we've already done 540. So, and it was just sitting at about 1/4 full. Anyway, better safe than sorry. And one thing I want to avoid is having to stay very long in Halls Creek. Now we have a sign. Halls Creek 224. Okay, well that's not what Karen said. Karen told me it was only 193. But the Garmin tells me that it is actually 224. Anyway. The good thing about Google is it gives you a guide. At least it's a guide. There's one that didn't make it. He's called Rod. I bet he wasn't called that when it broke down. What have we got here? Somebody riding a horse or escorting a horse. We've got a big burn off going over here in the right hand side. Somebody burning the evidence, hey? Woohoo! Oh yeah. They just set fire to it and let it go. This might be the custodians burning. Well, this is a pretty little section through here with the trees and things. The country's changed from that salt bushy, crappy, shitty looking stuff to something that resembles nice plains. Yay! It looks like we've got a bit of bitumen in. Well, this would have to be the nicest camping spot on the whole of the Tanami Road. But then you see this. What is it about people? They can't take their bloody rubbish with them. Eh? And then they wonder in years to come why they can't go camping. Anyway, that'll do me for a night. I think there is only this side of the creek. It's called the Sturt Creek. It is a designated camping area on the HEMA maps. So, anyway, as I say, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's 4:10 in the afternoon, and I've been travelling since 8 o'clock this morning. Well, I've decided to leave this campsite actually. I was sitting here, I've been watching for an hour or so, and I kept seeing the same 2 cars driving up and down the road. And the unfortunate thing about this place is there is no, you can't get too far off the road, and it's just these 2 cars. And I think, nah, you get a feeling about some places, it's you know, with all the rubbish and shit that was around there, looks like they could be holding a bloody corroboree for all I know. And the strange thing is, I didn't realise it at the time, I'm only about 3 kilometres from the Billaluna community. So maybe they think, oh, there's a stranger using our campsite, we'll go and fix him up later. I might be paranoid, but it's better being paranoid than fucking dead, isn't it? So my plan is now, it's 1841, about 55 to Wolfe Creek Crater. And I've been to Wolfe Creek Crater before, and it's through gates, and so I'm going to make for them. The fortunate thing for me is, although my watch says it's 5:30, I'm back on WA time, and it's still, let me see, 3:58. It's just coming up for 4 o'clock. So I will still be in time to sort of set up camp in a designated camp area. I have been there before, so I will feel a lot safer. I just got a bad feeling there. It was only 41, I think, to the turn off to Karanya, which is where the Wolfe Creek Crater is located on that property. Then I think it's 15 or 20 k's down a really bad track. Anyway, we can find out soon. If it wasn't for the fact that this is the Shire of Halls Creek, I wouldn't have bothered too much, but I have had so many bad experiences in Halls Creek. It's just, I don't fit in that area, I'm sure. Well, I think I missed the turn off. Coming from the other end, I came to a sign that said Karanya, and it was there was an outstation. Anyway, whatever it was. It said private property, but there was no gate there. It was just a little track. And I distinctly remember coming to Wolfe Creek Crater, going into the property. There was a building on one side and a huge big farm gate that you had to open. And I haven't come across it since. And I'm now 115 k's from Halls Creek, and I sort of thought that the Wolfe Creek Crater thing was about 128, so it could very well have been that. So I could find myself in the bloody middle of Halls Creek at 6 o'clock at night. I'm not amused right now, I can tell you. Horses, I think. There we go. Walk through 20 k's down this road. Open the gate. I wasn't far out. I just thought I had passed it. Okay, so we've got 20 k's down here, and it's not as bad as the bloody road that I've been on anyway. Animal welfareists, please shut the gate. Of course we'll shut the gate. Right, okay. Turn the... Lucky I didn't use up all my fuel. I got 20 in and 20 out. That's okay. Right, I'll shut the gate. I was lucky I had to switch back to WA time, because my watch now says it's 6:05, and it's actually 4:35 here, even though the sun is dipping low down on the horizon. At least I was still on a decent time scale. Mind you, it's been an awful long day. 8 o'clock this morning, and it's now, you know, the equivalent of 6 p.m. travelling these dusty roads. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm the one who wanted to do this. I don't think this is a mirage. almost full. Water up here in the desert. Ooh, boogie woogie, spooky wookie, we're nearly at Wolfe Creek crater. Woo. It is nice in here though. Is there water at the bottom of this? No. Oh, I think there's a big maybe diplo. Oh yeah, baby. Oh shit. Ah, crap. Man, cosmic. Better watch that in the morning coming back out. Getting hard to see now. Probably stop working. If they still work. Please shut the gate. Okay. Hang on while I open it first. Well, my spotlights are working anyway. I better turn them up, they're as bright. Okay, now. Right, let's go. This is a really bouncy section too, I think. I can see the rim of the crater over to the right. Over there. Right. Just looks like a hill, but it's a big old crater. Here we are. There's some happy campers here. Campground, that's where we're going right now. Oh, Karen, where are you bloody heading? I'm going in here. This is our spot here. Okay. Yeah. This is it. Okay.